Looking at football season, we talked a little bit about the stadium, and obviously open up with Alabama, and then a good home schedule this year with Alabama, Miami, Pittsburgh, who at one point was 7-0. We got Virginia Tech coming to town. A lot of fun games. You were mentioning the Champions Club. I finally bit the bullet and am heading over that way. So excited for the football season. Excited to put a tough year behind us. How, where do you feel, and not to ask you to speak too much on what Mike's doing, but where do you feel the program is coming off of, one of the more difficult seasons that most people listening, I know we have some old heads on here, most people listening remember?
Yeah, being able to go to practice, just seeing the continuity this year. What's really impressed me is the different pieces. To see the young people that were on the young student athletes that were on the team last year really vocalizing their voices and seeing them step up to be leaders, and seeing then the pieces that we were able to bring in, them stepping up and being leaders and vocal leaders and moving forward. That looks like in times past, when you're holding each other accountable, you're going to get better. And that's something that's really impressed me. But just to see the type of people that Mike's brought in, the work ethic that they're showing, the continuity amongst the teammates is something that really excites me this upcoming year. And not to mention the coaching staff, bringing in one of the sharpest offensive minds in college football, in the history of college football. If you go through the records, see what he's produced offensively, and then I really love our 3-3-5 scheme with what Tony White's bringing in, and where it attacks from different pressure points, and just see the versatility of it. And I think that meets the athletes that we have, not only on our current roster, but in the future, and gives them the opportunities to really go out and make plays. And so that's something I'm really excited about, to see our defense step up as well. And, it's a different feel for this year. It's more of a vocal feel. It's more of people holding each other accountable. And that's something that excites me going into this season.
Yeah, on the coaches specifically, I have seen this, and I want to get your take on it because you've always been pretty upfront with us, I feel like. There is concern with high school recruiting among FSU fans. I know Mike has talked about making changes to the staff to get better there, and he did make several changes this offseason. Is that something as an AD that you monitor, or is that kind of in the weeds and you kind of take a more high-level approach to how you monitor a program? What do you have thoughts there? I'll get right back to chatting with AD Alford, but if you are feeling tired, sluggish, or just off, I've told you a couple of times, check out my friends over at Emerald Medical. Low testosterone could be the culprit here. At Emerald Medical, they will help you reclaim your energy with hormone replacement therapy. You can use code DFNS on their website at emeraldhrt.com. We'll link it in the description to get a free consultation and save money on your journey to feeling like the real you again. Their owner, Chris, is a huge Florida State fan, just like you and I are. Emerald Medical will offer personalized care that you can trust. Again, emeraldhrt.com, no strings attached, just a free consultation. I am a user myself. Remember the code DFNS to schedule your free consultation now.
It's something we discuss, no doubt. And I do monitor it now, but it's kind of twofold. It is in the weeds. I don't get in the weeds on it as much, but I do monitor it. We do discuss it. We do look at philosophies with all of our coaching staffs of what they need. And it's just a constant communication that I have with all of our head coaches about what are we looking for, what are you looking for, and what are you building for the future. I thought, Mike and I discussed a concern after this year, because you have this year, but you got to look in the future. We went out and just got 2 young offensive linemen in the portal. Looking at our offensive line in the future, we have some great pieces and some young men who are really growing and going to be good in that position as they get stronger and better, because that is the hardest transition to make from high school, is offensive line. And we went out and got the young man from Rutgers, got the young man from Vanderbilt, who's one going to come in and help us this year, but also really help us prepare in the future. So it's something that we do discuss, we monitor as we look really 2-3 years down the road. And that's something I'm always looking at our rosters and projecting 2 or 3 years down the road, and trying to forecast who's going to be in those positions, and monitoring them as they progress through their career at Florida State.
coming off of that tough year, I'm not necessarily looking for a number here. I'm not trying to get you in trouble or have 17 articles
We'll get
written
a
on
number.
this. But how do you define success in a year where Florida State does look to rebound? Again, I'm not trying to get you in trouble too much with this, but just thoughts around what success would look like in 2025 for football.
You look for improvement, of course. And fortunate, I get to see what goes on behind the scenes. I get to see the hard work that's going in with this team. I get to see the personalities come out. I get to know them on a one-on-one basis. But you're looking for improvement. You're looking for young men to really step into the program and take ownership of it, and I think that is happening. Once again, we talked about just how vocal the team is being this year and holding each other accountable. And Mike does such a great job. That's something that I'm really look at and proud, and everyone would be proud. Is he takes men, boys, and turns them into men. Let's say. And really holds them accountable and teaches them life. And I get to see that on a daily basis. And the respect that they have for him, I get to see on a daily basis, and the relationships they build. And that's something that is really proud. They do it in the classroom, highest GPA ever in a football program. And we're doing that across the board. We have a department 3.3 GPA. APR just came out highest ever, 992. So we're doing it in the classroom. And that's a direct reflection of all of our coaches and pouring into our student athletes and the culture that we have within the department. But to get back to football, it's the culture Mike has in that program. So I'm fortunate. I get to see it on a daily basis, and we're really fortunate to have him as our head coach.
Alabama week 1. I don't know if ESPN reaches out or if there are any kind of thoughts about this, but I know there's a big game up in Columbus, but I don't know if there would be a better way to send off Coach Corso than having him out on Langford Green and put on that Seminole gear for one last time. Any thoughts around whether or not we may get game day week 1? Have you heard anything? Anything you can share there, or any just thoughts on it in general?
Well, it would be great to be able to honor Coach Corso. The Sunshine Scooter, as he was called. What people don't realize, in 3 different years, and I didn't realize this about him, in 3 different years, he led us in rushing, interceptions, and passing. And
The
I mean,
original Travis Hunter.
he was a tremendous athlete for us, and to be able to honor him would be great. We're going to honor him regardless whether they come here or not. He's a special human. He means so much to the game. His love for Florida State is really shows every time we get a chance to be around him, and we're going to do everything we can to showcase Doak Campbell Stadium, the new facility, primetime game, because brands do matter. And the Florida State brand versus the Alabama brand will get some attention. So we're going to do our best to continue our discussions and put our best foot forward.
Yeah, would be. It's going to be a fun weekend no matter what. But adding him in would be the cherry on top of hopefully a week 1 win against Alabama. I'll finish up with this and then we'll get you out of here so we can all watch this softball game here at 11. But I was in a position, and I know not everybody's in the same position, but I was in a position to up my booster membership this year. It's something that I try and do every year, even if it's not to another level, because eventually you run out of levels at where I'm at. But if try and up it every year that I can to give back. And I do think that if you can do it, it's easy to do it during during the good times. It's harder during some of the tough times. But just can you talk a little bit about the boosters? I know you're on the tour right now, and supporting and what that helps and why that is so crucial.
We'll provide so many opportunities for our student athletes, especially going into a new world of intercollegiate athletics. We are self-sustaining. You and I have talked about that many times. We call it we get to eat what we kill. If we have a budget, we have to go raise the money for that budget. And we directly pour it back into our student athletes, whether it's facilities, the opportunities academically we're able to provide them, summer school, everything the resources with tutoring and the labs and everything that we do and are able to go out and raise, we make sure we pour it back into resources and opportunities for our student athletes. We graduate our student athletes at a higher rate than the student body. And that's something to be proud of. They're performing in the classroom. over 30% of our student athletes are first generation student athletes, and that's changing lives. And more importantly, as a first generation student athlete graduates with that meaningful degree from a top 20 public institution in America, they were able to go out and change the trajectory of that family's future. And that's what's so important. So the next generation now, that's the standard of graduating from a prestigious university like Florida State. So, the more that people give, and thank you for your contribution, I give back. It is making sure that we will provide those resources to our student athletes and give them opportunities to get their degree.
Yeah, I lied. I thought of one more thing as you were talking about that, and then I'll really get you out of here this time. So I hope. We texted back and forth when this happened. Shared a little bit of a laugh. For those on social media, may kind of connect some dots there. But we texted back and forth when the FSU and Clemson settled with the ACC. Talking on revenue and just on money in general. I've seen projections and want to get your thoughts on this, that with the new, obviously the Success Initiative was already there, but with the new media rights deal, which, was asked 4 years ago. But anyway, with that in place now, I've seen projections of anywhere between an additional $10 and $15 million a year if you're kind of in that upper category. I'm sure you've already seen the numbers, and I believe it's a 5-year rolling period, which Florida State has done really well over the last 4 years with big games this year. You'd think they do pretty well again. Are those numbers, are those projections of what a team can earn fairly accurate? Like, do you have an idea of what that could look like for Florida State starting just this year?
Yeah, it's something that we look at. And when the Success initiatives that we pushed for first came on board, that was the first start of getting what, say you have success, you should earn it. Same as what the media contract is. Those who are driving the media contract from an annual basis should be able to earn more out of that media contract. And so that's something that we push for. So I'm excited about where we're positioned. We have some big games. We've always performed well. I might taunt that every once in a while that we do well. Brands matter. I'm going to discuss that, and we're going to continue to play big brands. You've read. Well, I want to play Notre Dame more. We already play them more often than anyone in the conference. We play Miami every year. We play Clemson every year. We're going to play in Alabama. We got Georgia coming up on the schedule. We play Florida every year. We're this is the Florida State way. We're going to go out and compete against the very best, and as we continue to do that, it's also going to be draw great ratings on TV. So when you go to the game, leave your TV on to help us out. But yeah, it's something that we're really excited about. It's the opportunity to go earn it. You have to go earn it. It's not just going to be given to you, but I believe the way we schedule and the brand will allow us to go earn additional revenue.
I'm obviously coming up for the Alabama game. I'm sure you've seen that 3 TV setup that I have out in the backyard. I'm having my wife turn all three of them on the inside one too. So usually I have different games up there. This year I might just put 3 FSU games on on at the same time. So Michael, we appreciate you a ton for taking some time and chatting with us. Look forward to hopefully seeing you soon for some baseball and softball up there in Tallahassee, and then of course on August 30th for the Alabama game. Man, thanks for hanging out.
No, let me know when you're coming in town. I can be bribed for a tour.
I'll bring the chicken.
Let me know, and I look forward to seeing you, and go Noles.
Thanks, buddy. Go Noles.